Good morning and welcome to Newswatch Today. I'm Emma Armstrong.
And I'm Morgan Pagel. A volcanic eruption that happened in Ecuador.
And the Vatican's official statement on euthanasia.
Braden Nelson is here with your weather forecast.
And Sadie Chisholm has your latest sports news. This is Newswatch Today. Thanks for joining us this morning. Right now we have Braden giving us a first look at the weather.
Thanks, Emma. So here's our first forecast for today. Currently, it's quite foggy outside if you've ever looked. If you've been outside yet today, it's about 54 degrees. You can't see too much. The visibility is about half a mile, which is pretty crazy, but luckily that'll clear up by about 10 a.m. this morning. And we got a little bit of winds coming our way. Later, it'll warm up to a nice degree, to about 79 degrees, and that fog will clear again. And then later tonight, you can expect cooler temperatures with clearer skies. That's our first forecast.
Thanks, Braden. I guess we will know more during your full forecast. Homicide or free choice? The Vatican issued a 17-page document on Tuesday, September 22nd, condemning euthanasia. Its title, The Good Samaritan. Euthanasia is when a doctor may administer lethal drugs to a suffering patient by the patient's own choice. It is legal in 3 European countries, as 2 other countries that are traditionally Catholic are considering the change. Some form of assisted dying is legal in 9 U.S. states and Washington, D.C. Inheritance was the EU film that was supposed to release last semester but got delayed due to COVID. Isaac Pruitt is here to tell us more about this story.
It's freezing out here.
No kidding.
There is much anticipation for Evangel's latest film, Inheritance, which began last semester, but filming got cut short due to the pandemic.
It's kind of a dual story where it's about 2 main characters. We have Luke and Ethan, and so it's actually kind of like 2 ends of the spectrum. Luke is like, he's still living with his dad. He's like a young adult, and he's just kind of unsatisfied with his life, and he wants to do something else. And then we have Ethan, who just got out of prison, and he wants to make something better of himself.
Inheritance is rather unusual in the fact that it had 2 different directors, Holly Black and Braden Nelson. Filming for the movie was split into 2 groups, each sporting its own director, which presented many challenges.
So the regular challenges of filming, I think one of the main things was just kind of like cooperation. We had about 14 people help us out, 7 people in each unit. So cooperation and learning how a film crew works pretty much for the first time. I think for me that was kind of a big thing. 1.5 to 24.
Inheritance is the first film that Braden has worked on here at Evangel. And through his experience, Braden has learned a lot about the filmmaking process.
Before, I don't think I knew how to like properly do a lot of like film things, and then like Holly like sparked something, and then I got to work on projects over the summer, and then like talking to Holly now, I feel like I'm more on the same level.
Although there were many challenges that the film crew had to surpass, Braden is extremely optimistic for the eventual unveiling of the film.
I've seen some of the footage, it looks pretty good, but you know, it's not gonna be perfect, but it's, you know, it's definitely something that people put their heart and soul in.
Although there is no official release date for Inheritance, Braden and others are hoping that it will air to Evangel students sometime this November. Reporting for Newswatch Today, I'm Isaac Pruitt.
Thanks, Isaac. Greene County Sheriff's Office is taking advantage of Child Passenger Safety Month by launching a campaign to make sure car seats are installed properly. KY3 discusses how important it is to save a child's life by making sure they are strapped in correctly. First off, give the car seat the inch test. Secondly, keep their car seat facing the seat. And lastly, make sure the child is in their seat tightly. Read your manual for your specific seat and car, and keep your kids safe.
New elements were added Saturday to an exhibit at the Black Archives of Mid-America in Kansas City. These elements are jars of soil to represent 3 men who were lynched here in Springfield in 1906. They are to be joining 57 other jars representing those who were killed due to racial violence in Missouri between 1877 and 1950.
Elon Musk promises a $25,000 Tesla and says Model S Plaid is coming soon. Musk told CNN that a Tesla with this price will be available in around 3 years. This would be the cheapest car Tesla has made yet. However, Musk is occasionally known for under-delivering on promises. Musk also mentioned that the $25,000 car would also be able to drive autonomously, which would be difficult since that capability requires quite expensive parts. It will be interesting to see if the car is released within that time frame and price point.
Coming up next, Morgan interviews AB member Natalie Stein.
And a lawsuit against the Missouri Secretary of State. All that and more, next.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Talking about inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Presidential elections are coming up, and a federal lawsuit has been issued against Missouri's Secretary of State. Ballots are being thrown out for easily fixable mistakes such as not filling in a single box or forgetting to confirm one's address. With Missouri's current way of taking votes, if someone gets their ballot by mail, they have to send it back by mail, or it too will be thrown out. This lawsuit will allow for the ballot to be mailed back to the voter if such issues arise. Like many other stores, Nike has had to depend on its online sales for support due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In a recent development, they have seemed to lean toward making a permanent shift to online sales. This being that they have had their digital sales skyrocket a whopping 82% in the June to August quarter. This is likely due to so many people doing at-home work while avoiding the spread of COVID-19. Now, Morgan interviews an activities board member that helped to put on the AB event, Recess, on Tuesday. Take it away, Morgan.
Thanks, Emma. Natalie Stein is with us today. How are you doing today, Natalie?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, Natalie, first off, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I'm a senior here at Evangel, and I'm an elementary education major, and I'm on activities board.
Awesome. So why did you choose to join activities board?
Just so that I could be a part of something and be able to be in a community that helps Evangel and puts on events for Evangel students. So, yeah.
Awesome. How many years have you been on activities board?
This is my second semester.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So you guys recently had a recess event. Yes. Can you tell me about that event a little bit?
Yeah, so basically it was just the idea of having all college students come out and play recess games like 9 square and kickball and like just those types of things, and just have fun and hang out.
Awesome. So how was that social distance wise and everything?
It was pretty good. Obviously, like when you're playing things like kickball, like you kind of have to watch out. We did our best to keep people distanced and keep everything cleaned after it was used, and so we just try our best, and that's all we can do.
Awesome. So what activity at recess would you say was the most popular?
Kickball for sure. Or maybe 9 square.
Both are great games.
Yeah.
So how was the turnout? Was it a lot of people?
Yeah, we had way more than we were expecting. I can't remember the exact number, but it was a good amount.
Awesome. I'm sure people are just trying to get involved.
Yeah, for sure.
How did Activities Board come up with the whole recess idea?
We were just given the idea of like having an outdoor event, and with some brainstorming, they were like, let's just have recess, and so yeah.
So I know we're going into the fall season, so how are events gonna look? Are they still gonna be outside or more inside?
We have a mix. I think that was our main outdoor event. We have a couple more inside events coming up, and so yeah.
Sweet. Can you talk about any of the events coming up? Or
soon we have an event coming up in October, and we're doing a coffee shop type event, and we're partnering with some of the other groups here at Evangels campus.
Awesome. Yeah. And so what would you say your role on Activities Board is? Or
I'm an event team leader for the coffee shop event, but I also work on our sketch coma for our Harvest Fest.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yes.
When is Harvest Fest?
November 16th.
November 16th.
I think.
Awesome. Do you have any advice for anyone who maybe you would want to sign up for Activities Board or would interest?
Immediately just do it.
Yeah.
Get involved and just come out and see what you're willing to do. And it's super fun, and it definitely makes you build community and makes you feel like you have a place, so it's super fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what would you say like your overall experience or favorite part of Activities Board has been?
Just getting to know more people that I normally wouldn't get a chance to know. Being able to walk through campus and say hi to people that I wouldn't normally say hi to, it just builds that community and makes you feel like home.
All right, well, thanks for joining us, Natalie. Well, Braden, fall is now officially here. Are the temperatures starting to resemble the autumn season?
Most definitely, but they're definitely getting there slowly. Currently, our current forecast is quite foggy outside. If you look, you don't see much visibility because we have about half a mile of visibility. Overall, it's about 54 degrees, and we have a bit of a wind chill, and then that'll clear up later. But we'll see the full forecast after these messages, so make sure to stick around.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
KY3 recently reported that a crew worked to clean hateful graffiti off of rocks near Missouri Institute of Natural Science south of Springfield. Most of the graffiti is covered with paint to hide the negative speech and symbols. The words "White Lives Matter" were written on the sidewalk along with a swastika and another white supremacist sign from Nazi Germany, the SS lightning bolts. Greene County's geologist Matt Fourier and his son took to painting over the graffiti. Fourier mentions that it was a teaching moment for his son. The negative impact this graffiti can have is quite large. Another company will be coming in to finish the removal. A volcanic eruption that occurred in Ecuador covered 80,000 hectares of farming land in ash. BBC notes that the provinces of Bolivar and Chimborazo were the worst affected. The ash came from one of Ecuador's most active volcanoes, Sangay. The dark ash reached a height of more than 12,000 meters. The Agriculture Ministry of Ecuador has volunteered to help clean up crops and pastures in the areas that were worst affected. They are also supplying food rations for cattle and water pumps to spray crops clean. That volcano isn't the only thing to erupt this week. The autumn weather has truly erupted into full swing. How about it, Braden?
We're certainly getting a little bit of that fall weather so far, Morgan, but let's see what we got so far. So currently our current conditions show about 54 degrees and it's quite foggy outside. You can't see too much because the visibility is about half a mile, but that should clear up by about 10 a.m. in the morning. So don't worry about that because we have better conditions coming on later today. It'll be about not 60, it'll be 79 degrees and sunny. We're getting a little bit warmer today and the wind chill will still kind of be there because it's been a little bit windy this morning. So it won't exactly feel like 79 degrees, but it'll definitely have that on the temperature. So if you look at your phone, it'll be 79 degrees. Later tonight, we're going to drop down into those temperatures of 57 degrees. It's going to be a bit clear, but overall, we're dropping into those cooler temperatures because we have fall. So make sure to bring your jacket literally everywhere that you go. So let's check out what we have as far as national weather. So national weather, you can see here on the radar just kind of what rain is coming in what areas of the country. So you can see kind of some green past us, and you can see kind of some blue a little bit behind us. That blue might sprinkle in a little bit to us, as you saw with maybe some sprinkles on Tuesday, but otherwise that serious rain will not reach us anytime soon. Also, we have a little bit of we have some of the wind patterns coming here. It's overall going to be a little bit more breezy in the beginning of the week, in the beginning of this upcoming week, but overall we don't have too serious winds coming our way. And then again, you can see kind of our national highs and lows. We're still in that green area, but that blue area is slowly approaching us because again, it's the start of fall. We're getting cooler weathers. Make sure to bring your jacket everywhere you go. So, speaking of cooler weather, let's see what the cooler weather has to bring for our 6-day forecast. So starting on Friday, you can see that pretty much all day is going to be sunny, or every day is going to be sunny, but overall it is going to be a high of like 88 and then like a low of about 49 this upcoming week. So you kind of get a duality to our weather this week. So it's going to be sunny. It might be a little bit cloudy and a little bit overcast, just kind of partly cloudy parts of the days, but overall it's going to be quite sunny. It will be windy in these first 3 days, about Saturday, Sunday, Monday, but overall it'll be quite nice outside. So we're dipping into those colder temperatures very slightly because of fall, and that's all we have for this week's weather.
Thanks, Braden. Up next, we have sports with Sadie Chisholm, which includes an Indianapolis Colt linebacker losing his wedding ring. You don't want to miss it.
Open up your books to page 360.
Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
About inspirational quotes.
You gotta believe in yourself. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees?
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Students are winding back the clock and having a taste of a 90s-themed childhood once more. In one of AB's newest events, attendees get to flash back to elementary school, doing activities like playing Foursquare, creating chalk art, taking a go at giant checkers, competing against their friends in scooter races, playing cornhole, and kickball, to name a few. For its first opening, E-Recess has been a hit.
It looked like a lot of fun. I actually saw the posters all around like their week, and it sounded like super fun, and everybody was out here looking like they were having the time of their life, so I wanted to join.
Just a great experience, good people, good drinks and food, ice cream. We had a good time.
Makes one wonder what AB has in store for future events for the students of Evangel University. Speaking of events, what's going on with the world of sports this week, Sadie?
There's a lot of things happening in sports. Many changes are taking place in the sports world right now, Emma. Evangel football hosted their first game on Thursday, the 24th. Coronavirus has affected the quantity of seating available, only allowing 50% capacity for home games. Tickets are no longer for purchase at the gate, but they are available on evangeltix.com. No worries if you can't make the game, though. Scores, updates, and policies can be found at evangelathletics.com. In national news this week, the Chicago Bulls have hired Billy Donovan, the previous Oklahoma City Thunder coach. The Bulls' executive vice president, Arturas Karnisovas, sought after the coach after he left the Thunder. Karnisovas remains excited to welcome Donovan because of his winning record that follows him and is hopeful that it will continue to the historical franchise in Chicago. Ideally, Donovan will be able to recruit some new young athletes and get the Bulls into the playoffs next season. In the NFL, the Denver Broncos made adjustments due to coronavirus and injuries. They signed a one-year deal with Blake Bortles in response to Drew Lock's shoulder injury. The new quarterback will have to participate in multiple coronavirus tests over the course of the next 4 days to be eligible to play in upcoming games. Their next game will be on Sunday, the 27th. For some more news from the NFL, the Indianapolis Colts linebacker, Darius Leonard, made a fan's day when he gave away his gloves after the win against the Minnesota Vikings. That wasn't the only thing Leonard gave away. His wedding ring slipped off in the glove, and he didn't realize until he showered and dressed that the ring was missing. The youngster contacted the linebacker's wife to let her know what happened and plans for recruiting the jewelry. Leonard was thankful for the fans' honesty and is making plans to return the favor. That's all for sports this week. Back to you, Emma.
Thanks, Sadie. When we come back, a snake being used as a mask and awareness for childhood cancer. Stay tuned.
The best place to find adventure.
Come on, this way.
Is in the forest.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
It's beautiful.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant. Behold, the angry giant! Behold, the angry giant! It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework. I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
1 in 5 children struggle with learning and attention issues. Go from misunderstanding to understood.org.
Hey, did you know that 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Go to theshelterpetproject.org and search your local shelters and rescues. Go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
You've heard of paper masks. You have heard of cloth masks. Get ready for snake masks. A man in England was observed wearing an actual living snake mask on a public bus. The other riders did not seem to notice. A spokesperson for Transport for Greater Manchester said, "While there is a small degree of interpretation that can be applied to this, we do not believe it extends to the use of snakeskin, especially when still attached to the snake." A snake is not a proper mask, according to authorities.
The Ronald McDonald House has created a September Step Up Challenge to raise awareness for childhood cancer. Fox News reported that the CEO stated that there's still a ways to go, but the tables have turned when it comes to the disease. 20% of someone's healing and health is determined by the clinical care they get, and the remaining 80% is everything else. The Ronald McDonald House is working on the other 80%. The house focuses on how patients get to treatment, how they get fed, and where they have a place to stay. It is truly amazing what they are doing and how much they have accomplished. Speaking of amazing, what did you think of the weather this past week, Braden?
We definitely had some good weather last week, but let's look at this week. So this week we have about a high of 88 and a low of about 49. It'll overall be sunny this upcoming week. But in those first 3 days in the forecast, we'll have quite a bit of wind in there. So you'll see the 80s, but it'll feel a little bit lower, like in the 70s. So either way, you want to bring a jacket. Again, fall is starting, so make sure to look out for those colder temperatures. And that's all for your weather report.
How about that snake mask today? That story was interesting.
You know, I can understand if he was wearing snakeskin pants to match, but other than that, let's just leave the snakes at home. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to wear snake skin, but a living snake as a mask, that's something crazy.
No.
All right, that's all the time we have for this week. I'm Emma Armstrong.
And I'm Morgan Pagel. This has been Newswatch Today. Join us again next week.